This guy, Greg Locke, is one of those hardcore Christian pastors, televangelist. And as you all know, these guys are going yummy in my tummy when it comes to the chaos and the destruction in the Middle East right now. They're all cheering Israel on. Now, the reason why they are is a little dark. I'm sure most of you know the story, but if you don't, we'll get to it after the clip here. But the short version is they want Jesus to come back and kill most of the Jews and usher in the rapture so Christians can go to heaven. And that's why they're cheering on Israel. Okay, so here he is. He's going to talk about what's going on. And he doesn't really hide in any way, shape, or form the celebration over genocide. Watch this.
Israel should make the Gaza Strip a parking lot by this time next week.
We're literally 6 seconds in and we already have a call for genocide. Israel should turn the Gaza Strip into a parking lot. This is one of the classic genocidal claims that Zionists make and hawks make.
Destroy the whole thing. And anybody that's going to support this Hamas nonsense.
I love how, okay, so yeah, you're supporting Hamas nonsense if you don't want to genocide Gaza and turn it into a parking lot. Really? Because I was under the impression it's more supporting Palestinian civilians to not kill all Palestinians. God, they're so dishonest. And this is the trick. So many of them, I guess you love Hamas. I guess they've been saying this about young people because of TikTok. You love Osama bin Laden. You love Hamas. You know, a poll just came out where they asked Americans how they feel about Hamas. Do you want to know what their approval rating is? 1%. 1%. So this bait and switch of like, bro, you just love Hamas. The only way you could prove you don't love Hamas is to support turning all of Gaza into a parking lot. Jesus Christ.
Joe Biden ought to be tried for treason. You understand that? Now, I get it. Obama's the real president behind him anyhow, and so he's the one that ought to be tried for treason.
Okay, these people love that conspiracy theory. But I love the idea that Biden should be tried for treason. Meanwhile, he's currently sucking off Israel, cheering on their genocide. And a lot of people don't know this, but Trump took over $100 million from Sheldon Adelson when he ran for president. And then when he got in office, one of the things he did, at the direct request of Sheldon Adelson, is move the U.S. embassy to Jerusalem, which helped lead to the Hamas terror attack that then came. So if anybody's doing treason or representing another country, it would be Trump representing Israel when he was in office, as opposed to doing what's best on behalf of the American people. Even the Abraham Accords, that was a giant middle finger to Palestinians, and they were basically begging Palestinians to strike at Israel, begging Hamas to fight back against Israel. Because when they do the Abraham Accords, they're trying to work around the Palestinians, pretend like Palestinians don't exist, bring about peace, and eventually make it so that Israel has the support of everybody and can just annex the Gaza Strip and annex the West Bank. And so Trump was representing Israel and the Israel lobby as president. So you really want to have a conversation about freedom, about treason? Now, Biden's, of course, a massive friend to the Israel lobby, too. But, of course, look, this guy would hear me say this, and he'd go, that's fine. I like Trump selling out and representing Sheldon Adelson and Israel over the U.S. He would say he likes that. Why? Because you'll see, he seems more pro-Israel than he is pro-U.S. Why? Because of Jesus. Wait for it.
So I hope Netanyahu's a leader and he just mows the whole thing down by this time next week.
We have like 4 calls for genocide within the span of 39 seconds.
If you think all this open border stuff is not an opportunity for a bunch of Hamas sleeper cells to come into this nation right now and start killing innocent men, women, and children, you have lost your mind.
When you know absolutely nothing about geopolitics. Hamas is not like Al-Qaeda or ISIS. They're not. So yes, they are an Islamist organization, a Sunni Islamist organization, but also their goals are territorial in the sense that they want to create a Palestinian state. That's their goal. It's not, they don't want a global caliphate. They know they don't have the power or the ability to create a global caliphate. They want a Palestinian state, and they want, Sunni Islamism to rule it. The idea that they would attack Ohio, like, again, these people don't know anything.
I'm sick of all these Christians saying we ought to have peace with Islam. Islam is a satanic death cult, and they would cut your head off before I said amen in this sermon if they had a chance to. The Muslim religion hates Jewish people to the core of who they are.
It sounds like you hate Muslims to the core of who they are. That's what it sounds like to me.
What they ought to do is evacuate up there on the hill and get a great big missile and blow that wicked Dome of the Rock plumb off of the spot where it's standing right now so we can get that third.
Jesus, all of like the cheering, the applause, like these people are frothing at the mouth genocidal. It's astonishing.
Temple rebuilt and usher in the coming of Jesus.
There it is. There it is. Did you hear that? That's what it's all about. Usher in the coming of Jesus.
Get that third temple rebuilt and usher in the coming of Jesus. That video of that woman that survived the Holocaust in a wheelchair, they snatched her up. Kidnapped a Holocaust survivor by somebody with American dollars in their pocket.
The one with American dollars is the IDF. What are you talking about?
Government that should have been smoked out months ago when they stole the election to begin with. Yes, I said it.
These people, okay, understand something. These people are horny for Armageddon, and that's why they support Israel to the extent that they do. They are horny for Armageddon. Because the way it works in the Bible, for the rapture to happen and Jesus to come back, Israel needs to regain all of its biblical territory, right? And that includes parts of Syria, parts of Lebanon, parts of Egypt, definitely includes the Gaza Strip and the West Bank, or as they would call Judea and Samaria. In order for Jesus to come back, the Jews have to be in their proper biblical homeland. And so they want to make that happen so that Jesus can come back. And I believe the story is they convert, I want to say it's like 160,000 or so Jews, and then the rest of them burn in eternal hellfire. And so it's ironic their deep support for Israel is really based on, I can't wait for most of you to die in eternal hellfire so that I can go meet Jesus, so that the rapture can happen and Jesus can come back. So in other words, you need to understand something. This is what these people really believe. This is what they really believe. This is what hardcore fundamentalist evangelical Christians really believe. John Hagee, another great example of that. But what I always find amazing is they never reckon with the empirical reality of their claims being tested. So John Hagee said that the end of the world was going to happen between 2014 and 2015, and the sign was going to be the 4 blood moons. He wrote a book about it, where we have like red moons in the sky. That didn't happen. He just woke up the next day as if he wasn't just, his life's work for the past decade wasn't just blown up right in front of his face. So these guys are astonishing. And by the way, John Hagee said that Hitler was sent by God to help the Jews get back to their homeland in Israel. But somehow these guys are the real friends of Jewish people. These guys are, because they want the rapture to come and they want these people to die. But look, I mean, they're not hiding it, right? This is out in the open. They are flat out genocidal to Palestinians. Now, I need you to stop and reflect on the fact that there's probably plenty of people in positions of power who believe what this guy's saying right here. God forbid Trump gets back in office or any other Republican. Any sort of, even the fake brakes that Biden put on the car to rein in Netanyahu. Oh, don't make the same mistakes we made after 9/11, sir. Oh, you should be more humanitarian in your bombing. They let something pass through the UN where it like demands a pause in the fighting. Like, there's some little tweaks where they're like, please don't do a full genocide. With Trump and the Republicans, it is just, they will literally cheer on the genocide. They will be super excited about the genocide in every way, shape, and form. And you can see it here. All the cheering, all the applause, all the happiness to level Gaza, turn it into a parking lot, launch a giant missile at them. It's just, I mean, what do you say? This is as extreme as extremism gets, right in front of our faces. Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.